The road ahead, a comprehensive look at the top 10 driving tips. Aggressive driving is a problem on America's roads. It's been estimated that aggressive driving plays a role in 56% of fatal crashes. That's why it's so important to be aware of the signs of aggressive driving and know what to do if you find yourself in an aggressive driver's sights. Some common signs of aggressive driving include tailgating, weaving in and out of traffic, making unsafe lane changes, and honking excessively. If you see a driver exhibiting any of these behaviors, it's best to give them a wide berth. If an aggressive driver is targeting you specifically, there are some things you can do to defuse the situation. First, stay calm and don't engage with the driver. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below. Reckless driving is a major problem on our roads today. By definition, it is any driving that disregards the safety of others and puts them at risk. This can include speeding, tailgating, running red lights and stop signs, weaving in and out of traffic, and more. Sadly, far too many drivers think that as long as they are following the rules of the road, they are driving safely. But this is simply not true. Reckless driving is anything that goes beyond those basic rules and puts others at risk. And it is a problem that we all need to be aware of. If you see a driver behaving recklessly, do not hesitate to report them to the authorities. We all need to do our part to make our roads safer for everyone. And remember, when in doubt, always err on the side of caution. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below. Car accidents are unfortunately very common, but there are some that occur more frequently than others. Rear-end collisions and damage to parked cars are two of the most common types of car accidents. Luckily, there are some things you can do to help avoid them. Rear-end collisions often happen when one driver is not paying attention and rear-ends the car in front of them. They can also happen if one driver brakes suddenly and the other driver does not have time to react. To help avoid rear-end collisions, it is important to always be aware of your surroundings and give yourself plenty of space between you and the car in front of you. Damage to parked cars is also quite common. This can happen when a driver backs into a parked car, or if they open their door without looking first and hit a passing car. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below. A new study has found that the #1 cause of car accidents is not a criminal that drove drunk, sped or ran a red light. The leading cause of car accidents is distracted driving. Distracted driving is any activity that diverts attention from the primary task of driving. All distractions endanger driver, passenger, and bystander safety. In 2015, 3,477 people were killed, and 391,000 were injured in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. The best way to end distracted driving is to educate all drivers on the dangers of this behavior. Drivers need to be aware of the potentially fatal consequences of taking their eyes off the road, even for a few seconds. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below or in the bio. In a car crash, airbags save lives. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, front seat passengers who use a seatbelt and have an airbag have a 45% chance of surviving a serious car crash. Airbags have been shown to be most effective when used in conjunction with seatbelts. In fact, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that seatbelts saved almost 15,000 lives in the United States in 2017. While airbags are not required by law in all states, they are required in all new cars sold in the United States. If you are shopping for a new car, be sure to ask about the safety features that come standard on the model you are interested in. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below. One of the most frustrating experiences for a driver is when their car breaks down unexpectedly. It can be a scary and overwhelming situation, especially if the breakdown happens in an unfamiliar location. Fortunately, there are steps that you can take to help make this unpleasant experience go as smoothly as possible. The first step is to stay calm and assess the situation. Once you have identified the problem, try your best to move the car off of the road to avoid blocking traffic and creating a hazard for other drivers. If you do not feel comfortable trying to diagnose or fix the problem yourself, contact roadside assistance or a tow truck for help. Make sure that you always keep important documents on hand, such as your registration and proof of insurance card, so that you are prepared should your vehicle break down. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below. Drug abuse is a growing problem in our society, affecting individuals of all ages and backgrounds. It is estimated that over 20 million people in the United States are currently abusing drugs or alcohol, with many more suffering from addiction. Drug abuse can lead to serious physical and psychological health issues along with legal problems, family breakdown, financial difficulties, and even death. Drug abuse has become a major issue due to its widespread availability as well as its potential for addiction. Drugs such as cocaine, heroin, marijuana, methamphetamine and prescription medications all have the potential to be abused when used outside their intended medical purpose. Oftentimes these substances are obtained illegally, which further exacerbates the problem by introducing other risks such as violence associated with drug dealers or increased exposure to infectious diseases from shared needles. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe. Speeding is a serious issue that affects many drivers on the roads today. It puts everyone's safety in danger and can cause significant damage to property and even loss of life. Speeding has been linked to an increase in the number of motor vehicle collisions, as well as greater likelihood of injuries when these accidents do occur. Research indicates that speed is a factor in more than 1/3 of all fatal crashes on U.S. roads each year, making it one of the leading causes of traffic fatalities across the country. In addition to its deadly consequences, speeding can also have costly financial repercussions. Most states enforce stiff fines for excessive speeders, and some states are even stepping up their enforcement efforts with additional penalties like license suspensions or points added onto driving records. Increased insurance premiums are another possible consequence for those who choose to ignore posted speed limits or drive recklessly by exceeding them significantly. Driving in the snow can be a difficult and dangerous experience for those who are not used to it. It requires special attention, extra caution and an understanding of the different conditions that you may face when driving in icy or snowy weather. With a few simple precautions, however, anyone can learn to safely drive in winter weather. When driving on icy roads or through heavy snowfall, make sure that your car is properly outfitted with appropriate tires and windshield wipers. Additionally, try to reduce your speed as much as possible so that you have more control over the vehicle and are able to stop quickly if needed. Always leave a safe distance between yourself and other vehicles in case of sudden braking due to slippery road surfaces or poor visibility. And keep an eye out for potential hazards like black ice spots where pavement may appear clear but is actually frozen over. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below. Rain driving can be a daunting task for even the most experienced drivers. With slick roads and reduced visibility, it's important to take extra precautions when operating a motor vehicle in wet conditions. Here are some tips to help you stay safe on the road during a rainstorm. First, make sure your headlights are turned on so that other drivers can see you and give you space. It's also important to turn up your windshield wipers to their highest setting so that rain won't obscure your vision. Additionally, reduce your speed and increase the distance between yourself and other vehicles. This will help ensure that you have enough time to react if something unexpected happens ahead of you. In addition, pay close attention to puddles on the road as they can hide hazardous objects or deep potholes. For more driver education tips, study guides, and permit exam information, subscribe and click the links below.